Hello, everybody. It's me, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. And I got to tell you, I put out a Bigfoot encounter story every Friday. At least that's what I'm attempting to do. And I don't want to saturate you guys with Bigfoot encounters or Dogman encounters. I think once a week is fine. But I'm excited today. As you notice, I'm sporting a Detroit Lions hat. They won their second football game against the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, most of you probably don't care about the Detroit Lions or football, perhaps. But I am excited, so I decided to do a bonus video here on Sunday in celebration of their victory. And you know what? They say you shouldn't drop videos every week because you got to give the first video a chance to matriculate, to let people see it. But you know what? My true subscribers will watch. If you haven't seen this Friday's video, go check it out. In fact, all of my encounter stories and Bigfoot stories, they are on my playlist in the Bigfoot Michigan Rob About section. You know, you guys know what you're doing. YouTube, playlist, subscriber encounter stories. I'm going to break down and give one more before next Friday because you know what? I'm happy. This is in Keweenaw County near Green Bay. A father and his two sons were excited to get their deer blinds out and installed in their chosen 3 places in the woods. They hoped that they would each bag a deer on the opening day of firearm season. It was unusually warm for that time of year, and weather forecasts projected a high of 59 degrees. So they knew the temperatures would rise quickly from the low 40s to the forecast high for that day in November. Sunrise had come up about an hour ago, and the woods were coming alive in a kaleidoscope of fall colors: red, orange, brown, all leaves, all blanketing the ground. The remaining green leaves on most trees were beginning to turn. Some trees were starting to look bare. There was no snow on the ground or rain falling, and the day held lots of promise as the father and his 2 sons entered the woods near Gay to set up their deer blinds and start hunting. The first son set up and settled into the deer blind. His dad was about a mile and a half away in his own stand, and his brother was 3 miles away. As they sat quietly monitoring the woods, the normal chirping of the birds welcoming the day suddenly stopped, and the woods became quiet and still. Then the first son, who originated this report, and this report, by the way, is from the BFRO I pulled up, they detected a musty, damp, and foul smell. The distinct smell was followed by a loud animal scream. It sounded like a woman in distress with a high-pitched shriek and then a low growl and back to the high-pitched scream. As the witness traveled to process the sound, a second scream was heard making the hair on the back of his neck stand up. Then the smell returned. The son remained up in his blind, and the sound stopped, and the smell dissipated. Around noon, he left his blind and went to meet with his dad for lunch. During lunch, his dad asked him if he had heard any screams. The son said he had, and his dad then described what he himself had experienced. He was the same as that of his first son. Neither left their blinds. That afternoon, the son returned to his blind so they could each finish out the day hunting and watching for passing deer. No other sounds were heard or disagreeable smells were detected the rest of that day. The witness's brother was hunting about 3 miles away when the son asked him later about the smell and the screams that he and his father had heard. His brother said he had heard the same sound and smelled the same stench. None of the 3 saw a deer pass by their blinds, nor did any of them find out what was making the smell and sound. None of the 3 had ever experienced this before, but it was an encounter to remember. My father and son see dark figures dart across the road down Brockway Mountain. This is in June of 2000, Keweenaw Peninsula, Brockway, and this is from Steve. A mother, father, and son were coming down from their campsite near Brockway Mountain lookout at the north side of the Keweenaw Peninsula. Early that June morning, to catch the Copper Ferry, out to Isle Royale. Suddenly, a black creature darted out into the road in front of them on four legs. It stopped in the center of the road and rose upright on two legs to reveal a huge, hairy creature. For a few seconds, it stood and glared at them. As the mother reached for her camera to get a picture, the creature dropped down on all fours and raced off, disappearing in the road in front of them between the tree line. Even without a photo, the experience had already been burned into their memories forever. Child plays hide and seek with a hairy Bigfoot. This is in Houghton County. Hiking families see spooked deer race across the trail. Then they smell a foul scent and odor and heard grunts and growlings and knocking in the tree lines. Suddenly, a white-tailed deer jumped out of the bushes, raced across the trail, and into the bushes to the right. The woman, her husband, 3 children, and her mother-in-law were walking on the trail, and at the top of the ridge they went east on a narrow path. It was something like that of an ATV trail. The trail was bordered with thick bushes and trees, tall grass, and small roots. Suddenly the group heard something to their left out of the bushes. A spooked white-tailed deer jumped out in front of the trail and ran back off into the bushes to the right. The rustling sounds to their left stopped quickly. As the group continued on, they heard a knock or thud that sounded like a rock being struck against a tree. Then they heard a branch break. The group felt that they were being watched by something out of the bushes. They then heard a bark or grunt and detected a strong smell like a sewer. As they went east on the ATV trail, the woman's son began barking back to see if the thing out in the woods would bark back. It didn't, and 100 feet further on the trail, they found to the left of the spot bushes where there were broken trees leaning on each other and they formed a crude teepee, and grass packed down flat. Next to it was an old broken white bucket. I don't know. I put together about 2 or 3 of these really quickly for you guys. They're interesting. It's Sunday. Hope you enjoy these. Next Friday, I'll be back with my subscriber encounters. Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Please subscribe if not already. This Tuesday, 9 and East, Beyond BMR, Barton Nunnally. We talk about Inhumanoids in a book he wrote. Barton's a cool dude. He thinks that these creatures, these Bigfoot, maybe they're not all cryptids, but they're Inhumanoids. If you want to find out what Barton wants to talk about in his hypotheses or his theories, check me out, 9 o'clock in the East. Hope you like that. I am Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, also known as BMR. You have a great day. It's a great Sunday. Great Sunday for me. Go Lions. Probably be the last one of the year. But you know what? I'm happy today. I hope you are too. BMR. He's out.